Well, thanks for visiting us here at KTALnews.com and your Weather Authority app. I'm meteorologist Josh Morses, and this is your Monday forecast update. And I'm glad you checked in today, as weather very well could turn into the story of the week here. Kind of some typical and cool weather for your Monday and Tuesday. Some needed rainfall on Wednesday, and I think most eyes will be focused on the potential to see some winter weather, maybe beginning late Friday and continuing into Saturday here. And this has some of the hallmarks of what could be a high impact event for us, and this far out confidence is, I would say, low to medium here, but we could see just that classic mix of sleet, snow, and maybe even some freezing rain as well. So we could see us icy situation as we get into the weekend. I will get to that in a moment, but the first half of the week will be relatively quiet here. We'll start out in the 20s again this morning, and we have a little front that's going to come through today, so our temperatures will stay on the cool side. Most areas will wind up in the 50s this afternoon. It's a dry front there, but it will kind of keep our winds out of the northeast and keep some of that cool air flowing in today. Extremely dry as well, so we will be running mostly sunny to partly cloudy, but your morning temperatures likely in the 20s here, and your daytime highs will be in the 50s, with the exception of Idabel and DeQueen. Those of you north of I-30 will likely top out in the 40s this afternoon. Let's get to the rainfall before we get to that winter weather. That rainfall likely going to come in on Wednesday, so just partly cloudy today, tonight, and likely for your Tuesday. And I think it's a repeat as far as the temperatures on Tuesday. Tuesday will likely be in the 50s. In fact, just about every day this week will be in the 50s here. There's the rain on Wednesday. Again, as that rain sets in, the temperatures will be above freezing Wednesday morning, so we're not concerned about any kind of winter weather on Wednesday, but we will get some needed rainfall. And I think too cool to see any thunderstorm activity here, but the way Futurecast is looking, it's maybe showing just an isolated storm maybe south of I-20, but there will not be any severe weather threat given the cool temperatures there, and the rain will be going on and off for much of the day here Wednesday, and then we'll likely dry out Wednesday night into Thursday morning here. We would like to see over an inch of rain with these systems, but this one looks to be on the drier side as well. Most areas likely less than a half inch of rainfall. Hopefully we'll see those numbers come up just a bit through the week here, but we will get some rainfall out of that system on Wednesday. Thursday and most of the day Friday will be a transition day as we kind of head towards the weekend. And before I show you Futurecast here, we'll just kind of touch on what we're talking about as far as the winter weather. It may begin as soon as Friday evening or Friday night here, and it may be a mixed bag, as it often is in our part of the country. Some areas where you live, you get just a cold rain, or you're getting snow, but we live in that transition zone where we can see a bit of everything, especially some freezing rain and ice accumulations there, and maybe even some snow by the time we get into the later portions of the day on Saturday. Very cold temperatures, could see lows in the teens and maybe daytime highs in the 20s and low 30s, and we know for sure that with each forecast model, again, you get twice a day, you get these major forecast model runs, and with each one of those, we'll be kind of hanging on to that throughout the week, but your forecast will change day to day just as far as the timing and the impact. So it will be another day or two before we show you some of the impact maps. So let me give you the overall setup here as far as what we're expecting as we get closer to the weekend. There's your rain on Wednesday, and as we go to the later portion of the week, what's happening here is we have a jet stream that's pushing out of Canada here, and that's going to be pumping that Arctic air, that very cold air, into the Arctic here. So we're beginning to see some higher confidence that the temperatures will drop below freezing there Friday night. And the jet stream gets split, so the southern half of this jet stream, or the subtropical jet as we call it, this thing will be pumping in all the moisture there. So you get that moisture feed coming over Mexico and Texas, and then you get that very cold air coming down from Canada, and we kind of live where those come together there, and we'll get that classic winter mix maybe beginning Friday night into Saturday. But what we'll be watching as the week plays out here, the forecast models could come in a little warmer, so this could turn more into a kind of a slush or just a cold rain here. If they begin to come in colder, we could see maybe higher impacts as far as ice, sleet, as well as snow. So that's what we'll be watching for this week. But I would say this far out, our confidence is, I would say, at least medium confidence here at this point, and we should see that winter weather wrap up at some point, maybe Saturday night, but we could see some of this winter weather play out throughout the day on Saturday there. So we're going with the high impacts for now, and again, by Friday night, that's when we could begin to see some of those winter weather impacts. But as I mentioned here, we could see some wild swings in the forecast this week, so very important that you just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Next few days, just be prepared to act just in case we do need to stock up on some supplies as we get closer to the weekend here. You don't need to run out and do that just yet until we have some higher confidence in what we're seeing here. But at this point, again, just kind of keep it in the back of your mind that Friday, Saturday, possible high impact winter weather, and make sure you're checking back for updates throughout the week.